For half a century, Japanese Technics has dominated direct drive turntables with their rock-solid SL series. If you are in the market for a kick-ass direct drive turntable to last you a lifetime, you just clicked on the right video, as we will investigate how fellow countrymen Denon wants a piece of that legacy bot with their DP3000NE, a challenger that on paper makes all the right moves to be an endgame deck for the serious audiophile. And around 2,300 euros, that appears to be a very intriguing price for this level of quality. I mean, this thing weighs almost 40 pounds. In this video, we will bring it head to head with the Class Kings. Will it hold its ground? But first, awesomeness! Jernholm Reviews is a non-monetized channel. We work for nature preservation, collecting donations via Patreon. Join the ranks and get access to exclusive content and expert advice for less than the price of a cup of coffee a month. Truth achievers, we build, we play, we give it back. We are the mighty Silverbacks.
Your sound, your music, your planet.
The 3,000 euro Technics SL1300G here can be called a SL in a tux. For reality check, I also call in the undisputed Mac Daddy flagship in the category, the significantly more expensive 4,500 euro SL1200G for good measure. Here we will see what it's truly made of, and along the way you will be able to hear the differences for yourself and judge if the extra cost is worth it. You will also hear how they cope in real life through a series of subjective and practical tests using the exact same setup for a clean comparison. With the new SME mount cartridges from Danish Autophon, I found that vinyl playback has been taken to a whole new level in this day and age. It's safe to say that this technology do not stand still, and it can bring out even more. Both newcomers and long-time vinyl lovers can learn something here, whether you're escaping a cheap starter deck or exploring how to evaluate your own when we test what they are made of in practical use, where I think it matters. For good measure, I really can't call myself a full-on vinyl-only enthusiast, but I love and value authenticity and the right sound at the right time with a collection of vinyls that really means something to me. Vinyl is now often a part of my Sunday morning ritual, browsing and listening to old records and enjoying the smell, history, memories, and most of all, the authentic sound. Let me know in the comments below why you love vinyl. That said, I see a clear difference between music original made for vinyl and modern recording simply pressed onto it. The latter, I'm actually not a big fan of, but that's a story for another time. Now, this latest Denon offering for vinyl stood out to me as it had all the classic traits of a great direct drive turntable, paying homage to the Denon tables of the 80s, yet in a slick, less bulky design. The plinth there is rock solid and heavy, and the big feet is adjustable and vibration isolating. It's just textbook perfection. It's a substantial turntable with a nice soft closing lid, solid connectors accessible right on the back, easy to use manual controls, and a flexible tone arm that can accommodate all kinds of cartridges. And by using a SME socket, you can easily exchange them too. Looking closer here, we see that Denon has gone with proven technology motor-wise. Instead of reinventing the wheel, the motor setup actually looks just like the type used on the classic Technics SL turntables of the 90s. The bearing holding the platter is really solid, and it feels like something that will just last a lifetime. The Technics turntables takes great pride in being the most precise rotating tables in the world. So let's start by doing a real-life test to check the rotational speed of the Denon against both a flagship Technics 1200G and the SL1300.
It's one small step for man.
Say Jernholm Reviews. Jernholm Reviews. Hey!
In order to make a real test of the rotational speed precision, all 3 turntables were set up as identically as humanly possible. I made sure that every deck was in perfect level using a traditional spirit level ruler, and each table was leveled by adjusting the feet. The test was done on the same day under the same conditions. The power itself was stabilized through a professional Furman voltage regulator to eliminate any little fluctuations in power that could potentially influence motor speed or torque. Set up with the same cartridge, tracking force, the same record clamp, ensuring no differences in mechanical drag, slippage, or stylus load. The playback from each turntable was recorded in 24-bit, 48 kHz resolution through the same signal chain, so there was no analog variables between takes. In post-production, I aligned all 3 recording to within a single sample, so we could directly measure any speed drift over the full side of the record. After 21 minutes and 9 seconds of glorious music playback, the result was remarkably close. Using the SL1300G as speed reference, just assuming that it's the most precise, the Denon DP3000NE was running about 100 milliseconds faster after those 21 minutes. 100 milliseconds, that's almost immeasurable. To put that into perspective, the Technics decks are rated at 0.0025% warm and flutter, and Denon allows up to 0.5% speed tolerance. So what we measured here is an order of magnitude tighter than even their own specifications. This is a real-world verification of just how precise modern direct drive systems really are. Even though the SL1300 with its Delta Sigma drive in theory is the most sophisticated of the 3, the tiny drift you see is well within production tolerances, far below any audible threshold and potential variation in record cutting speed or platter diameter. If there is any advantage to the SL1300, it should be in the very nano variation, something that I cannot detect by ear though. See if you can in the recordings linked in the description.
Says Turn Home Review. Turn Home Review. Hey!
Another advantage of the direct drive is very strong torque. When starting up here, it will use less than a quarter of a rotation to get up to full speed. Boom! Really solid. Let's just revisit what to expect from a high-end belt drive table with a heavy platter. So here we go. Does torque matter in daily use if you're not a radio station in need of quick startup times when DJing? I think it does, like when dusting off your records, for example. With a strong motor, this can be done with only minor speed reduction. Just listen to this.
400 Hertz. 500 Hertz.
This is something a cheeky belt drive can only dream of. Before doing more comparisons, let's talk about the daily user experience.
Says Turn Home Review.
I just love the overall feel of this Denon turntable. They have clearly been thinking intelligent minimalism. For example, it has no power button.
Hey, you can't do that!
Yes, you can.
Why?
Because when you think about it, it's not necessary at all. That's why. You simply just ask it to start, and it starts. When stopping the table, it automatically just shuts off the power. That's intelligent simplicity at work, folks. Thinking of it, it makes the super clean looking SL1300G look a bit overdressed with that power button.
Do you know what this means?
Even while it looks like you can only have 33 and 45 RPM speeds available on the Denon, it actually also supports 78 RPM, simply done by holding the speed button while pressing the start-stop button. Both speed lights indicating that the speed is now set to 78 RPM. Secret stuff! I adore the presence it has in the room too, and the slightly bigger size gives us some extra space on the turntable itself for the little knickknacks you use to clean the cartridge and the record, or maybe that included record clamp / center adapter if you like. Unfortunately, this was among some of the items missing from this demo unit, and I could not get them replaced in time for the review, as someone was too busy with other things. So instead, I will be using this extremely lovely Autophon piece weighing about 300 grams. It's also available in a lighter version, looking like this, if that is too much for your turntable with 300 grams. Also, having enough clearance for some vinyl underneath here, it can just be a great thing. I often put them there when making a selection and bringing them to the turntable. The lovely height adjustable damping feet looks like great isolators and will most likely be awesome at eliminating feedback. So let's test, compare and find out, leading us to challenge number 2, feedback suppression. A turntable can pick up vibration and sound. In fact, it actually behaves much like a microphone. Here, for example, when gaining one of my recordings quite a bit, you can actually hear my voice being picked up. Now, imagine how it can also pick up sound from your speakers along with any vibration. If this is not efficiently suppressed, you can end up with a feedback loop, just like a microphone being too close to the speakers. This is where the turntable's dampening, the weight and the decoupling matters to suppress as much noise as possible. I test how well they do simply by putting the needle to the groove without rotating the record and then turning up the volume until I reach the point of feedback. It's a crude but really effective real-life test. And we're really forcing it with extra bass. You start hearing my voice cutting through, and here you hear the feedback. Surprisingly, the Denon did just as well as the Kings, with a bit higher resonance frequency actually. I had to go all the way in order to get up to the feedback point, even with full frequency speakers placed very close to the turntable. That's a very impressive result. In other words, these turntables are so well insulated and vibration controlled with their heavy dampened platters and heavy plinths and isolation feet that in practical use, they can handle everything unless you have the lid on. If wanting to play really loud, it's a must simply to take off the lid, as it will act like a big capture device for unwanted vibration. Fortunately, the lid is very easy to remove on both turntables and put back on. Isolation of turntables from the surface is also really important. And if you happen to own a turntable that does not have fancy decoupled feet, you can use third-party ones like these excellent Aerobeat isolators using magnetism. These are perfect for it and can also be used for electronics and speakers. Another thing that is crucial to me personally in a turntable is the easy exchange of cartridges. My daily audiophile driver is this fantastic Autophon LVB250 that is so articulate and detailed. But let's say you want to play 78 RPM shellac records. In that case, you would need a specialized card for that very purpose. In fact, let's use this wonderful opportunity to demo just how big the difference can be. And here with a specialized 78 cartridge. If you want to hear more wonderful flavors from the people that came before us, check out the Phonetic channel that provided these clips for me. The channel makes the absolute best transfers of 78 records on the internet. I guarantee it. And would you use your €1,000 cartridge to play really messed up, unclean vinyl you just got fresh from the market, or use it when having a party with your drunk friends?
Get the fuck out!
You would use a professional plow for that, like this Tricks cartridge, also from Autophon, designed for DJs. A DJ cartridge operating with much higher tracking force stays in the groove and has the fattest cantilever you ever saw, so it can take a beating like no other.
But it didn't leave a single scratch.
And no, don't worry, it does not destroy your records and it will still sound good, but without the fast transients and all the detail maybe. The SME mount is what makes it possible to exchange in minutes. And that, my friends, leads us to the weak point with this turntable. And that happens in part 2 of the battle for direct drive supremacy. Remember to check out some of the other interesting comparisons on the channel, hit those like and subscribe buttons, or even better, support our mission of nature preservation by joining us on Patreon, where you get early access, exclusive listening sessions, and much more. Thank you for watching.